Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to our presentation and discussion. So here we would like to give you a brief explanation about validity and reliability. Well, validity and reliability are the concept to measure and evaluate how well our technique used in a research. So both validity and reliability indicate how well a method, a technique, or test measures something. While reliability is about the consistency of a measure, validity is about the accuracy of a measure. It refers to how accurate a method measure what is intended to measure, how accurate our instruments to measure our research question. So here, as you can see in the screen, the validity is the degree to which the researcher has measured what he has set out to measure. You can begin by asking yourself, are we measuring what we think we are measuring? Do we use appropriate and valid instruments to collect data, the data that we are looking for to answer our research questions? Well, according to several experts, Cohen, Edmonds, Kumar, and et al., there are 5 types of validity in quantitative research. The first one is internal validity, the second one is external validity, the third one phase and content validity, the fourth is concurrent and predictive validity, and the last one is contract validity. Let's take a look by having a discussion each of the validity. So, talking about the internal validity, it demonstrates that the findings must describe accurately the phenomena being researched. So, internal validity makes the conclusion of causal relationship credible and trustworthy. So, without high internal validity, an experiment cannot demonstrate a causal link between two variables. Of course, the internal validity is influenced by anything that cannot demonstrate a causal link between two variables, such as proactive history, retroactive history, maturation, testing, statistical regression, mortality, instrument effect, experimental effect to participant sophistication. While external validity is the degree to which the results can be generalized to the wider population, cases, or situations. So it focuses on each unique characteristic of a study that might raise the questions of whether the same result would be obtained under different situation or conditions. So any factor that limits the ability to generalize the results of a research study is a threat to external validity. Those threats are influence or related to generalizing across participants or subject, features of a study, and also features of the measures. Having internal and external validity, we also have phase validity. Although it doesn't have a specific formula, the phase validity here is really essential to our instrument. It is the extent to which a test appears to measure what it claims to measure based on face value. So here I give you a simple example, like if you have a measurement of reading ability, then you read through questions and decide during or having done with those questions and deciding that, yeah, it seems like this is a good measure of reading ability. Yeah, it is called as face validity, only on a face value. And although what is it face validity is often criticized as a less rigorous approach than others to assess validity, it can provide useful information about the entire instrument and to the degree to which it is meeting its intended purpose. So, having face validity, we move to content validity. It is the assessment of the items of an instrument after having face validity. In content validity, we have the basis of the extent to which statements or questions represent the issue they are supposed to measure. Having a theoretical framework to be our blueprint of instrument, it will be judged by a researcher, readership, and experts in the field. So here are steps to assess content validity. The first one, you collect data from subject matter experts, or it is called as SME, and then you calculate the content validity ratio. So here is the content validity ratio formula. Don't be worried that the formula here is not as complicated as the construct validity one, because what you need is that the number of subject matter experts indicating essential for your instrument and the total number of SME panelists. Okay, the higher or the closer the critical value to 1, the higher the overall content validity. So here, as you can see in the table, the appropriate number of panelists is about 5 to 7. Okay, the fourth validity comes to concurrent and predictive validity. It compares from one assessment to another assessment. It is called concurrent. If it is compared or it is talking about how well an instrument compares with the second assessment concurrently done. It is similar to the qualitative one. If the qualitative we have triangulation, in quantitative we have concurrent and predictive validity. Meanwhile, predictive is the degree to which an instrument can forecast an outcome. So the predictive, the researcher predict how well its instrument can measure the data he needs. Some experts here demonstrate concurrent and predictive validity as criterion-related validity. For the last validity is construct validity. So different from the previous validity, in construct validity, we talk about the statistical procedures, because talking about the quantitative one, as Pak Shafiq, for our experts in quantitative research, we need to have a rigorous data and rigorous techniques. So construct validity here is a more sophisticated technique for establishing the validity of an instrument based upon statistical procedures. So it is very common to use Pearson product moment to measure our construct validity. So here is the details for Pearson product moment. So you have several, symbols, but don't be worried, because you don't need to measure this kind of formula in details manually, but you have SPSS application to help you to measure your construct validity for your instrument. So here are examples of validity implemented in credible journal article. So that's all from my presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hopefully it can give you some insights.